From her colleagues, she had heard about the messy breakups and professional disasters that ensued. But Zoe didn't want to resist the temptation. There had to be a few exceptions to the rule. She used the same argument over and over. How could she possibly fall for someone who didn't share her passion? And that common passion is what had torn them apart. "Are you here to celebrate?" she asked. Her voice remained neutral, concealing the rancor that boiled deep within. "Exactly 1 week ago, you snatched control of this project from my hands, and I walked out on you. That does merit recognition." "Zoe, I didn't take control. I was given control." "Because you told Veronica I wasn't capable," she said sharply. "You need help on this. Why can't you admit it? You don't have the experience to deal with this one on your own." He pushed a lock of glossy brown hair away from his face and sank onto one corner of Zoe's desk. "Look," he indicated the pile of scent dips at his feet. "You haven't gotten very far. It's always a struggle for you, Zoe. Admit it." Zoe's eyes wouldn't release the hot tears of anger. She had lost the ability to cry years ago. "Perfume is about patience." She pronounced the words through gritted teeth. "But I shouldn't have to tell you that." "Try explaining that to a client," Drew snapped. "You still haven't answered my question. Why are you here? To deliver a message from the client?" "Cherone is asking for initial samples by next week. I wanted to touch base to see what you had in mind. We are supposed to be working on this project together, in case you've forgotten." Next week? Zoe's heart was racing, but she didn't flinch. She would come up with something, no matter what. "Everything is under control," she said, even though it wasn't. Pressure never hurt anyone, especially when dealing with a creative project. She'd pull a few all-nighters, and that would do the trick. Even though she wasn't happy with the management of this project, she wouldn't abandon it. The designer was influential, making this an opportunity for her to shine. Or sink. But Zoe wouldn't even consider failing. "What are you using for the juice?" Drew asked. "Look through what's on the floor and you'll know what I'm not using." He picked up a scent dip, sniffed, and screwed his mouth into a thoughtful pout. He repeated the routine several times. Zoe glared at him with satisfaction in her eyes, as if to say, "I told you none of these were right." She was back in the driver's seat. "You need more synthetics," he said. "I'm finding the same flaw in each of the samples. You're too bogged down by naturals. What you've got is too heavy." "Zoe?" A slight knock on the half-open door, and an intern popped her head inside. "I have the mail." Zoe distractedly thanked her and accepted the slim envelope as she explained to Drew that the problem wasn't only with the scent's inertia. "Jasmine doesn't work," she said as she opened the envelope with foreign handwriting. "It's too sophisticated and then she stopped. The document was written in French, the language of her mother, Barbara Rose Flore. A scent flooded her mind in one great burst. Barbara Rose's powdery homemade concoction with notes of bergamot and almond. Zoe coughed as if choking on the fragrance that escaped as quickly as it had overcome her. She scanned the letter. She was invited to the reading of the will of her great-aunt, Marie Odile Fontaine, in exactly 48 hours in Grasse, France, and she was to inherit a souvenir of olfactory significance. The Fontaine perfume family. This couldn't be right. Barbara Rose didn't have a family in Grasse or anywhere else for that matter. Her closest connection to Grasse's perfume industry was the lovely photo of a lavender field that Zoe had inherited. Zoe had carted the clunky frame all over the city as she moved from apartment to apartment over the past several years. Barbara Rose was a Parisian, and that was where she first had dabbled in scents. A Parisian who became a New Yorker when Zoe was a few weeks old. Barbara Rose had followed her best friend Joy across the Atlantic to escape the loneliness. "Why were you lonely?" Zoe's small voice would ask. Barbara Rose never answered, but Zoe glimpsed the sadness that conveyed more than words. Then her mother's face would brighten, erasing any trace of unpleasant memories, and she would delight Zoe with her latest olfactory creations. Zoe's eyes now remained riveted to the letter, but they only